Hi, I'm Thomas Broadhead. I'm the editor of the Critical Performance edition of the Ives Fourth Symphony. And in this video, I'd like to talk about the creation of the checklist for the orchestra librarian, which is something that was not present in the edition when I first assembled it. It's something that was added to the edition after my time with the Detroit Symphony in April of 2013. During that week of rehearsals, the orchestra librarian there, Robert Stiles, approached me and said, you know, there is so much to digest in the front matter of this edition that it's really intimidating when it comes in. And it would be great if there were sort of a punch list, a checklist for the orchestra librarian to go through to ensure that everything that the librarian has to do is in fact done. It would just make things so much easier. And I said, brilliant, perfect. That's exactly the kind of thing that needs to be added to edition. So let's work on that together. What are the things that you feel are most important? And so he, dictated to me the things that he wanted there, and then we corresponded by email afterwards about them. And so I assembled that listing and I added it to the edition, and then it was modified and things were added to it over time as more things came up that other librarians felt were important to add to it. And so it exists in the edition like this. It's just a one-page section in the foreword that's called Checklist for the Orchestra Librarian. And it contains things such as what to do if you don't have 6 desks of violas on stage, which is a problem in that the extra viola part that plays a role in the second movement is to be played either by a dedicated player or the player sitting at the 6th desk of that section. So if you don't have a dedicated player for the extra viola part and you don't have 6 desks, then someone needs to cover that part. And so it explains what to do about that. And then parallel to that would be the extra violin 2 part that requires a separate player or someone at the last desk of that section, and what to do if you don't have that many desks for that section, and so on. 2 years later, in 2015, I got a surprise phone call from Mark Millage, who is the orchestra librarian of the BBC Symphony. And he told me that when they had done the Ives Fourth the year before in 2014, that when he came to the checklist, he nearly fainted because he couldn't believe that someone had thought to help out the orchestra librarian on a piece of this complexity. And he was so thrilled with it, and it made his work so much easier that it made him really love the edition. And then he said, we're going to play it again almost a year to the date at the proms later this year. But before that, the Major Orchestra Librarians Association, MOLA, is having its annual meeting in Montreal, and I'd love for you to come to Montreal and give a presentation on the edition. And so I accepted, and I did. And unfortunately, there was no recording made of the 50-minute long talk that I gave. However, when I got home, I then recorded myself giving the talk, and that video is elsewhere on YouTube for perusal. But the checklist apparently has been quite helpful to orchestra librarians. They always complimented me on it and thanked me that I had included it. And so that's how it came into being.